Hello everyone, it's second episode of our Maine Treasure subscription interview. Quick reminder, it's our coffee subscription where every month you get different product from Maine, different treasure from Maine, and we do short interviews with business owners or managers of that business. And today our guest is Lynne Rowe. She's the owner of Tortilla Pachanga. Or Pachanga? Did I say it correct?
Yes.
What does that mean, Pachanga?
It's like it could be a party or it can be a dance, a rhythm. Some people use it as a term for like a pickup game, like a fun game, a game.
So like something fun.
Yes, something fun.
Okay, that's great. Can you tell when did you start your business?
We started production in 2014 in Portland.
10 years ago.
Yep.
What did inspire you to start tortilla business?
I was a Spanish teacher, and my husband and I, when we got married, traveled to Mexico and lived there for a year and taught English in a small town. And I fell in love with the country and the cuisine, and I really loved to make food, and I was wanting to make something using Maine grown products. And so no one was making tortillas, and we do grow corn here in Maine, and we are growing more now. And so that's kind of where I got the inspiration.
Oh, and where did you learn how to make tortillas?
Well, in Mexico, most people walk to the tortillería and buy their tortillas, but I had a student's mother showed me how to make tortillas in her house, and usually people would cook the corn in their house and then go to the molino, the mill, which was essentially just a little building that had a grinder like the one we have, and people would bring their corn, their nixtamal, the corn that they'd steeped the night before, to be ground into fresh masa dough. And so she showed me how to do it with fresh masa using a wooden press. And then when I left and came back to the United States, she gave me a beautiful wooden press, and I used it a lot with my students. So I mostly learned how to make them by hand, to make them in bigger quantities. I spent some time in Mexico, in Oaxaca, specifically with some tortilla makers there, and but a lot of it is just learning as you go, and I'm still learning.
So, still learning 10 years after. That's the beauty of entrepreneurship. So you think you're the only one in Maine who makes tortillas, so you have some competitors now?
Well, there are some restaurants that make them make their own tortillas.
But unless mass produce, no?
But not, no, on a small scale, like just for their restaurant use. And there's one that's a little bit to the south of us that sort of bridges Maine and New Hampshire that's making tortillas. There are more. When I started, there were almost none on the East Coast that were making corn tortillas from the whole kernel corn, from nixtamal, which is a more labor-intensive process than if you just are using like a masa flour and adding water.
Oh, wow, that's great. Obviously, I've never been to Mexico, but I can say that your tortilla is so different from everything I ever tried. That's why I love it so much. How do you think, what makes it just so full of flavor and so different from all those competitors on the market?
Well, I think it's the corn and the process. So we use as much locally grown organic corn as we can.
Organic corn, it sounds so difficult for me. Being a master degree in agriculture, I know how difficult it is to grow corn. Organic corn is just tricky. A nightmare.
I think growing corn is tricky anyways, and Maine has a short growing season.
And the soil is also not the best. Like in Ukraine, we have obviously one of the best soil, and here's like stone and different type of soil. So that amazes me. I wish I can go and explore those farms too. So you say corn, there is anything else that makes it so tasty and flavorful?
I think it's the corn, and it's the process, both the fact that it's just whole kernel corn steeped in limestone or in lime, and then rinsed, and then stone ground. So the stone grinding, I think a lot of people are like, oh, stone ground anything. And I do think that that probably is a factor in the flavor, and also just the care, I think, and love that's put into it.
Yeah, as the most important, I think, love. We all put love in our products here in Maine, especially. When you do you remember what was the biggest challenges when you started 10 years ago? And if you could go back 10 in 2014, would you start over? This obviously being an entrepreneur is difficult,
Right.
and some people might regret, some people might not. But do you think if you go back in 2014, would you change anything in your life?
I
Not
think you should have told me you were going to ask me this
globally,
question.
but in terms of running business, not.
I mean, there are a lot of things I would do differently. Absolutely. I mean, I do think it's been a very humbling experience, and it's definitely one of the hardest things I've ever done. And it's resulted in a lot of sacrifices. So I guess I have said before, if I
Yeah,
knew then what I know now, I maybe wouldn't have started it, to be honest. Um, you can edit that part out if you want to later, but I think there's more things I would do differently. Like I would have gotten a bookkeeper on right away, because I think it's we started with kind of cranky used equipment, and the process is complicated. I mean, there's a bunch of things I would do differently, but it's also resulted in me meeting amazing people like you, and
thank you.
and just making food, like feeding people. It's
And
been
understanding
amazing.
that people enjoying it and keep in mind that
Hmm.
it was made by you. That's like the beauty of making consumable product, isn't it?
Hmm.
Like
Absolutely.
understanding that people trying and eating it.
And I felt that way a lot during the pandemic, because we
Okay.
just kept producing, and it felt really good to be feeding people.
Oh, so you did work through pandemic
Yeah.
too. So, and most was the restaurants as well.
The restaurants, a lot of them were shut down, but then there was an increase in lots of different creative ways that people were distributing food, like online farmers markets and things like that.
What's your global plans? Do you think you wanna be national, like super national, go big to Whole Foods, or you enjoy the way you are right now? You have some big plans for your business?
I would like to be selling, using more Maine grown corn, supporting more farmers and other growers, because we can use different ingredients, like chilies or other things to sort of
Or
flavor
you
the.
can add chili to
Yeah,
make it more spicy,
you can
kind
add
of.
anything really,
Can
and
you add coffee into that?
we
Coffee,
could try. We've done chocolate, so I don't see why not. Um,
coffee
and,
flavored tortilla or tortilla
yeah, for like
flavored coffee.
you
Like
can
they
make
do
like
mushroom.
a sweet tortilla. You could
Oh,
put
you
like.
can do sweet tortilla.
Yeah.
What can you put on that? Nutella? So
Yeah, I mean, yes,
I would try it with the
yeah,
coffee in the
I
morning.
did it with the chocolate, with a caramelized banana and
Oh
chocolate
wow,
sauce. It was quite
wow, that
delicious.
might be delicious. I should try with the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so you say you would like to go a little bigger.
I would like to be buying more corn, using more corn, and making more things with the ingredients in the process that we are doing. So, and we are in the process of expanding equipment, because we got a grant that's allowed us to buy new equipment. So, we'll be making chips on a small scale.
Mm-hmm.
We also have made in the past, and are planning to make again, a snack mix using the nixtamal, the hominy, that's the corn before we grind it, and deep frying it into like a corn nut, like this crunchy snack that we
Mm-hmm.
mix with hullis pumpkin seeds, and we had like a Maine sea salt flavor and then a chili lime flavor. So I'm hoping
Oh
we'll be
wow.
producing those again, and also drying out the masa, a coarsely ground masa, to sell in bags
Bag. Yeah,
for
I saw those. They
for
export. They bring this from Mexico too. Like I've seen some
right, and
packages.
you can also use it for like polenta or
Uh-huh.
grits. So
I love
so there are
polenta too.
a couple
Love it.
different products that we're hoping to
That's great.
be making.
And maybe if you'll ship it successfully with our coffee, you can now open it to direct to consumer.
Right.
Your main business is wholesale accounts, and how many places you have with your tortillas?
I'm not sure exactly right now. I mean, maybe like 40,
40.
40 or 50.
Okay. And most of them Maine or something outside of
Mostly
Maine.
Maine. Hmm.
Mostly Maine. Okay. Um, so what's like the biggest joy about being entrepreneur, and like what's the worst thing about it?
I guess the best thing is like interacting with a bunch of interesting people and learning so much, like always learning. And then sometimes that's also the downside. Sometimes I'm like enough learning already. Like sometimes I just wish things would be um, easy. And I think that the hardest thing is maybe that you're always, it's your business, it's your baby, so it's like you're always on, so it's hard to sort of have other things. The balance is a little tricky, I think, probably.
And are you originally from Maine, or
No,
you're?
I was born in Ohio, but I grew up in Florida actually. So,
Uh-huh.
but I've been living in Maine a long time.
So you think Maine is better than Florida? It's gonna be a secret. We won't tell
Yeah, I mean,
anyone in Florida.
absolutely, yeah, without a question.
Okay, what was my?
Hopefully,
What
none
was?
of the people that are subscribing are from Florida.
No, we have subscribers from Texas, and I
Okay.
think there is subscribers from Florida too. I
Okay,
mean,
well.
United States is different than state to state.
Mhm.
That's what I love. It's huge, but it's still one country, and it's different from state to state. That's like amazes me. It's like bigger than the European Union, but it's still like so united. That's like, that's, I mean, still can't believe how beautiful this country is. I know some entrepreneurs from Germany, from Spain, from Poland. Obviously, I was entrepreneur in Ukraine. Now I'm entrepreneur here in the United States. Do you think United States government and Maine government does enough to support small businesses?
I feel, I mean, I'm really grateful that I received this federal grant. So that was a federal grant,
You
an
just recently received federal grant.
infrastructure grant. Yeah. So
Wow.
we're still in the process of doing the things that it's allowing, the project that we've sort of planned out. And so that's huge. And it's like a game changer. So, and then Maine has a lot of different resources like SCORE and CEI, SBA, Maine Center for Entrepreneur, so the MCE. There's a lot of different resources, and then there have been other offshoots of some of those things. Some of the small local banks like Gorham Savings Bank, which is the bank I use,
Mm-hmm.
and Bangor Savings, Norway Savings. A lot of the local banks do a lot of things to support local businesses and partner with some of those organizations I mentioned, and I'm sure some that I have not mentioned. But those all have been helpful in different ways to me over the years. And I think the biggest challenge is that if you're so busy trying to do your business, it's hard to actually avail yourself of those resources because so there are grants and things, but you actually have to have the time and the sort of
Yeah, to
focus
process
to be
all
able
this
to do those
information.
things in
Yeah.
addition to also running your business. And so I would say that's a challenge.
So it sounds like United States government support enough. Like,
I mean, I think I'm really fortunate. And so right now I feel like I couldn't say no to that. But I think but there's a lot of need. I hope we continue to support the development of small businesses because it's a heavy lift and it's nice to have
yeah, and
some.
then that's a small business is the blood of the country.
Yep.
It's like small businesses
Mm-hmm.
as they run the country. So we're gonna have your purple tortilla on our subscription.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it purple? Do you add any paint in that, or why is
No,
it purple?
it's blue corn, so it's called blue, although it is like purple.
Yeah,
And
I
I think
call
I
it
was telling
purple.
you
Sorry.
earlier that it is purple though. It really does look purple. And sometimes it's like a grayish purple, and sometimes it's more blue. It really does vary. It steeps differently and grinds differently in the corn, even though it's the same variety. So it's just the corn that makes it that color, and it does have a different flavor. And there's lots and lots of different colored corns, and we've tried with a bunch of different ones. But some people really do like blue corn tortillas.
Yeah,
So
like me, I love it. I don't
mm-hmm.
know, like difference is you think all corn is the same, but you can feel that tiny
Mm-hmm.
different. I enjoy it so much. What's your favorite? What's your favorite dish from tortilla? What's
I really love enchiladas. I really love like a enchilada suizas, which are like with a salsa verde, a green sauce, and sort of very creamy and rich and delicious. That's a favorite dish. And then I just love a taco with
taco?
you
Yeah,
put some
everyone loves taco.
or a tortilla, fresh tortilla with some some refried beans and maybe a little queso fresco. That's really
That
good.
sounds delicious, especially not having lunch.
Hmm.
So that's great. So blessed meeting you because you obviously helped me to scale my business too. So now we you know our coffee goes together to the same grocery stores as your tortillas. And thank you for being on that subscription. And I hope people in Florida, in Texas, and all over United States, our coffee subscribers will enjoy your tortilla, and they will order from you. I hope that will give you some push. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you.